By the way, last night, both coaches fined $100,000 for no masks on the sidelines. Add that to the list of Vic Fangio, Kyle Shanahan, Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, John Gruden, $100,000 each, and the teams, $250,000 each.
You think the owners are pissed?
I'd be. $250,000 out of my pocket because you didn't wear a mask? Come on. How hard's that?
Well, if they won, then maybe you eat the bullet. If they lose, you charge him.
Yeah. Who won last night? The Raiders won.
Yeah. So Gruden gets off scot-free.
Yeah. 49ers won. They were, by the way, I don't know how they randomly picked those teams out because every coach has the mask up, down, up, down. Gruden had it on at times last night. Did you see Belichick's mask? It's like a duck nose.
Yeah. How about this? Sean McVay goes play sheet over the mask so no one can see what he's saying.
Belichick's son does that too. They puts the play sheet up as you have the mask on, like you're hiding your lips or something. Like, come on, dude. All right, who's in, who's out? Let's get going here and find out which 12 teams we like to make the NFL playoffs now that we've seen 2 weeks of football. I got my sheet from week 1 in the preseason here. How many changes? Let's see. AFC East, I got Pats all 3 weeks.
I am sticking with the Patriots as well. They look good. Even though they lost to Seattle. They had a chance there at the goal line. And speaking of Belichick's son, do you like the mullet?
Great hairdo.
Great hairdo. I agree. I thought it looked great. Now we talk about the goofy mustaches, the mullets. You always say, why do people do that? That is why. Because when you get a great execution, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but he's a weird-looking dude anyway. Like, he's just a rando. I mean, he looks like, all right, might be a little off with him. That's perfect for him.
I hate to say this, but doesn't he kind of look like like a serial killer maybe a little bit?
Yeah, you ever hear him talk?
Yeah,
talk
absolutely.
Just like his father. It's crazy. All right, in the North, Baltimore, I've got all 3 weeks.
Baltimore Ravens?
Yep.
Yes, as do I.
I started with Tennessee in the South. I'm sticking with Tennessee in the South.
This is where I change. I did have the Texans. Last week I was like iffy on the flopping them around. I'm going to change from Houston to Tennessee. They look good.
All right, Tennessee for both of us. Now,
although they squeaked that out against Jacksonville, but
that's true. It's funny how 2 weeks in, things look like they're materializing so much. 4 weeks from now, we're going to be like, I can't believe I picked that team. In the West, I've had all my division winners in the AFC have not changed.
Yeah, I have not changed. I actually rewrote this because my other page was getting a little sloppy, and I wrote the AFC Chiefs instead of the AFC West. But guess what? I guess that makes a lot of sense because they're winning it.
My wild card teams, I've only made one change in the AFC the whole season. In the preseason, I had a wild card team that it's out, but I've had the same wild card teams the last 2 weeks. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, I've had all 3 weeks. And last week, I had Vegas in, and I have Vegas in again. So my 3 wild cards, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and the Raiders.
So I have the Colts staying in there. They got a win over Minnesota. They took care of business. I'm going to stick with the Colts staying in that wild card spot. I added the Steelers, so I took the Titans out to put them actually winning the division. Houston, see you later. I don't see anything good going on there right now. Sucks you don't have DeAndre Hopkins. Would have been nice. I threw the Steelers in there, and I have the Buffalo Bills. I threw them in there as well.
All right, so who are your 3?
I have Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo.
So we both have Buffalo and Pittsburgh. I have Vegas. You have Indy. All right, that's the AFC side. Let's go. Who's in? Who's out on the NFC? So, in the East, who do you got?
I have the Cowboys, and I'm sticking with the Cowboys. That win, I really do think that win over Atlanta is going to be a monster boost energy-wise. And look, it's crazy to say it's week 2, but that is a season-saving type win when you're in a division like you are with the Cowboys in this brutal division.
I had Dallas last week. I've got Dallas again this week. You're right. That win might have really, sparked them. Although both teams, Eagles and Dallas, have a brutal schedule having to play that NFC West. So I anticipate this being like, well, the Cowboys lost and you're still in it because that happened. But that's no way to live life. The North, I started with the Vikings. I went to the Packers. And this week I've got the Packers firmly in the North.
I also do have Green Bay. I haven't moved any of my division winners out of the NFC. I'm sticking with Green Bay. I actually had the Vikings not making the postseason. I got a couple of eyeballs at me early on. And just like you said, when you look back at this, right, a couple of weeks down the road, you go, what the hell was I thinking? Well, I just had a sense that there's always this weird thing that happens in the NFL where there's one team everyone drools over and they seem to fail. And it looks like right now Minnesota might be that squad. And with that being said, I got Green Bay leading the pack.
All right. In the South, I started with the Bucs. I went to the Saints. I'm kind of torn. I don't know what to do here. Could Michael Thomas being out for a couple of weeks, could that make the flip-flop here? I'm not going to flip-flop. I'm going to stick with the Saints, but I really was back and forth between those two.
And I think it's reasonable to do that. I'm sticking with the Saints as well. And it's close, though. There's no doubt it's closer than I expected it to. You brought up Michael Thomas. That is a big loss for this football team. Drew Brees getting up there in age. I still think he has enough. And I think that this team overall can step up. But that win by Tampa Bay, you're going to see some rhythm getting going with Tom Brady and these weapons. It's just a matter of time until they figure it out and they're really on the same page. And once they get on the same page, that's where the flip-flop might come into play.
All right, in the West, started with Seattle all the way through. The Seahawks win the West.
They look so good. I'm with you. It's incredible to watch Russell Wilson throw these balls and just throw it in the end zone, toss it up, go get DK Metcalf going. He'll go up and grab it. Just easily toss it towards the back end of the end zone. It's magnificent. He does it all the time. That was a tremendous game on Sunday night.
Wild cards. Here we go. Give me three. Who do you got?
I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I got the Rams, and I got the Cardinals. So that's three teams out of the NFC West that I think is going to make the playoffs.
You went who?
I went Buccaneers.
Oh, Buccaneers. Rams.
Cardinals.
Okay. I went Rams, Buccaneers, Cardinals. They were my three as well. Wow. See, early in the year so far, these first 2 weeks of the season, you got a lot of 2-0 teams. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 2-0 teams to start the season off.
And you got to factor in there's an extra wild card, so there's more chances for these teams that are starting off hot to even make the postseason. It's funny, the Bears, right? You don't believe in them. We both don't believe in them. 2-0, great start, but it's like, it's the Bears. 2-0, though.
Yep. So there you go. That's who's in, who's out this week. After 2 weeks of football, they're the 14 teams we think will make the playoffs. Really, we only have, one difference between the whole thing? You have Indiana, I have Vegas.
Yeah, that's about it right now. Yep. I like your pick, though. That team, they look good, that Vegas squad.
I got to be honest, I'm not a big Gruden guy. I really hammered the hiring. I like that team.
Did you hammer the hiring, or did you hammer the whole contract? And
the contract, like the fact that he got all this money and how many years and the money, and people acted like you're going to go to the Super Bowl immediately because you got John Gruden coaching. But I got to tell you, I thought Carr played well last night. I love the Jacobs kid. They got weapons. I mean, they got some weapons on the offense. The kid Waller is a baller, right?
No doubt. That kid is a stud.
Yep.